New Year's Eve. The fireworks thundering above as if the years banging on a cosmic door, excited to show you what it has to offer. It was infectious. People in company started to talk about their resolutions for the year. You were witnessing the birth of dreams in person. And as you were entranced in euphoria, body starting to reek of ecstasy, with hands still shaking, ass cheeks clenching, you stated, 5 years from now, I'm going to be a star. Skip forward 2 years later, and there you are, dead. With no schedule unscheduled, dreams shelved in shelves, just waiting for motivation to come back with the milk again. Sure, in the past 2 years, you've been publishing some stuff from here and there, but none of them has really blown up enough to be able to put food on the table. So, still, at the end of the day, you return to your responsibilities, wasting away the hours that you could have spent on making your next big artwork. And at that point, you might start to wonder if you're going to make it at all. Because slowly those days become weeks, and those weeks become months, and months become years, and for most of those times, if you're lucky enough, those work will distract you enough from the situation. But there'd be days when you're finally given time to think, time to create, but instead you spend those times to cry. And maybe you might start to wonder if this is what happened with our parents, the adults, the reason for why they live such boring lives, the kind of lives you said you'll never want to have. Perhaps they were those whose dreams fell, and the reason for why they are so critical is not because they don't believe in you. Perhaps it's because they were trying to protect you from the feelings that you're feeling now, for no one deserves to feel this scared and anxious. And it's in those times where you'll be reminded of their titles as it shines at its brightest, as our guardians. And suddenly it's not so hard to see yourself becoming them. And in these dark times with flickering hopes and restless nights, thoughts of becoming ordinary or giving up or failing yourself might haunt you frequently. And then you might ask yourself, should I settle? And here I come to you to tell you, please don't. It might not look that way, but I'd like to reassure you that you're in the right path. Like how you need to feel the pain when you stretch to know that you're doing a good job. These uncomfortabilities that you feel are not obstacles. They are candles in unlit paths that is constantly reminding you of the goals that you're trying to achieve. For it is known that you cannot build strength without resistance. And so in this case, resistance is interchangeable with reassurance. And remember that it is because you're an artist whose job is to realize fantasy into reality that you are met with the uncomfortable constantly. But it's not because they're the predator in our story, but because we are their worst enemy. We are firefighters in the forest of imagination, fighting wildfires that's using fear and doubt to cloud your freedom with temptation. Soldiers of expression that's fighting in front lines against oppression, so that people back home can live their life free of affliction. We are the messenger of beauty, while doctors, lawyers, historians teaches people how to live. We, painters, musicians, poets, teaches them why. And it's okay to cry, to practice the first tool we artists were blessed with, to identify discomfort, just like when we were kids would weep and scream, not knowing any better about the world. Be the patient parent. No, be the guardian for yourself and nurture that kid with compassion. Show them to not run away from fear and uncomfortabilities, but to seek them out and confront them. To live a life not filled with restriction, but a life full of bravery, courage, and affection. So perhaps one day we can pass this down and break this cycle of generational trauma and start a whole new tradition. This is a roll call to all those who are involved in this battle of despair and hope. For poets, to rewrite the guidelines of existence, update them to correspond with the demands of beauty. For painters, to pick up your brushes, paint on walls of numbness and cover them fully. For dancers, to teach people how to hit and kick at a word correctly. To relax your shoulders, prepare your stance, and look at insecurities in its eyes and then smack that bitch passionately. For artists, to please don't quit. Don't quit unless art starts being a matter of coercion rather than expression, when it stops being about love and more through with destruction. This is a love letter to you, dear masters of expression.